This is Eyewitness News with Ernie Anastas, Kaiti Tong for Roseanne Scamardella, plus Spencer Christian, Storm Field, and the Eyewitness News team.
Victim, an elderly man who was strangled, his Manhattan apartment ransacked. Jim Pamar tells us about the death of a man who was loved by his neighbors.
This is how life ended for 73-year-old Dionisio Marzan. His body was removed from his 9th floor apartment in the Jefferson projects of Spanish Harlem just after 8 p.m. tonight. Police believe Marzan was strangled to death with an electrical cord, the victim of an apparent robbery. Tell me about your father. What kind of man was he?
Well, he was a very religious man. He lived just for church and his home and his family. Never hurt anybody in his years he lived here.
He was an old man. He was defenseless. They watched him. He probably had money in his pocket or in his hand. He had been shopping in a grocery store, and they took advantage of him.
Every day, someone's always getting hurt, someone's getting robbed or something like that. That's really not fair. Now, to do something like this to a guy like this don't make sense.
There are plenty of police officers here at the scene of this murder now, but residents of this building claim that when they need police protection, it just isn't here.
If we got a protection over here, and the leaders in this neighborhood, they don't care about, they only care about politics and this and that, but when we ask for protection, forget about it.
We have so many robberies here, we don't have any protection, and the policemen never helping us.
Spanish Harlem has its share of murders, but the one that happened here tonight was a very uncommon occurrence. Was this murder drug-related? The police aren't saying, but neighbors in the area suggest that drug money, the reason for many other murders in the area, may be the reason why Dionisio Marzan is no longer alive tonight.
Changing the way we live because of the fear they create. And by and large, they're faceless men and women who remain anonymous because of the focus on more serious crimes. And that's why we're continuing our series of reports we call New York's Most Wanted, to expose them.
Dionisio Marzan was a frail but happy old man. At 73, he spent much of his time walking or sitting in the plaza outside his home of 25 years, the Jefferson Houses Project at 2nd Avenue and 115th Street. Last September, he left his spot on a bench outside and went up alone to his apartment for lunch. He was followed there by a teenager who pushed the old man into his apartment, strangled him with an electrical cord, and robbed him of $78 and a high school class ring that belonged to his granddaughter. When 19-year-old Christopher Joyner was arrested 7 weeks later, he had a pawn ticket in his pocket. He had gotten $15 for the ring he stole from the man he murdered. Yesterday, Joyner was convicted of that killing. His victim's daughter could see her father's apartment window from the kitchen of her home 7 blocks away. Ironically, Rachel Franco has been a leader in setting up tenant security patrols in her project, especially to protect senior citizens. And then her father was killed.
Because the things that he did had a kind only of a sick mind. A sick person could have done such a horrible thing that he did to my father. A man who was defenseless. He was 73 years old. He was 5'3" and only weighed 130 pounds. He didn't really have to kill him. He could just maybe tie him up or give him a punch. Not the brutal murder that he did on an old, defenseless old man. And I'm glad the police department did their work very effectively, and the district attorney, and he's going to be put away for a long time.
Dionisio Marzan's apartment is just across the Jefferson Houses Plaza from the building where his killer lived. Since dropping out of school in the 8th grade, Christopher Joyner has been arrested several times, once for mugging a woman who lived in his project. His parents, whose older son David is also serving time for murder, were not at home today. But 3 girls who grew up in this building with Christopher Joyner did have some thoughts on their friend's fate.
And if he really did do it, and if he's guilty, I feel sorry for him, because now he gotta pay hard. I feel sorry.
Who do you feel more sorry for, your friend Chris or the old man he killed?
For the old man, because he's dead. I feel sorry for the old man because... And Chris. But I feel sorry for the old man more because he was an innocent bystander. He got his life taken because another kid wanted some money. And then I feel sorry for Chris too, because I grew up with him and I knew him, and I knew that there could have been other ways. I don't know why he picked that way, but now he got to pay, and I feel sorry about that too.
Christopher Joyner will be sentenced on April 5th. He could get 15 years to life. Rachel Franco says it's sad to see a young man's life wasted, but after what he did to her father, she also feels that if Christopher Joyner gets out after 7 years because of good behavior, that would be worse. Bob O'Brien, Channel 5 News.
Who murdered an elderly man to steal $78 and his granddaughter's high school ring. That killer was sentenced today, and Bob O'Brien was there.
Dionisio Marzan was a familiar figure around the Jefferson Houses project on 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. A retired cook, he enjoyed whiling away the days with other senior citizens. On Sundays, he would round up local children to take them to church. On September 11th of last year, he left his spot on a bench and went up to his apartment alone to take a nap. He was followed there by 20-year-old Christopher Joyner, a neighbor of the old man's who lived one building away in the same project. Joyner pushed Mr. Marzan into his apartment, took $78 from his shirt pocket, and then strangled him to death with the electrical cord of Marzan's granddaughter's tape recorder. Today, Dionisio Marzan's family came to court to see Joyner sentenced. Marzan's 68-year-old brother, Benny, spoke for family and friends alike when he said he hoped Joyner got the maximum sentence of 25 years to life. One man who was either a friend or relative of Joyner's was not happy to see us there and refused to talk to us. Joyner's cousin walked backwards into the courtroom to avoid having his face on camera. In court, Assistant District Attorney Michael Ferguson told the judge to consider Joyner's criminal pedigree before passing sentence. That pedigree started at age 12 when Joyner severely beat his grade school principal. When he was 13, Joyner mugged several women, children, and elderly people, and was then caught with a sawed-off shotgun and ammunition. He mugged and beat a 65-year-old woman on Park Avenue 1 year before he murdered Dionisio Marzan. Joyner had been out of Rikers Island for that mugging only a short while when he killed the old man. Ferguson said he had no doubt that if Joyner was released again, he'd be stalking some other defenseless person soon afterwards. Before sentence was passed, Joyner himself told the judge, quote, "There should be justice for all. Now justice has been misserved," end quote. Said Judge Kenneth Shorter, 20 to life. Outside the courtroom, I tried to speak with Joyner's cousin and the other man with him.
I don't believe he did it. I don't believe he did it. I think the public has pressured the... No, I'm not going on camera. Go ahead. The public has pressured the judge. The judge is forced and put to the position to find my cousin guilty.
Well, what about the fact that your cousin killed a 73-year-old man, murdered him, and didn't have to take his money? I mean, doesn't that count with you for anything?
That counts, but...
But what? What is the but after that?
He didn't do it.
How do you know that?
He didn't do it.
He told a lot of his friends he did it.
I know my cousin.
He told his sister he did it.
No, he didn't.
How you tell his sister? Why you lying, huh?
Why do I lie?
Yeah, you lying. How did you tell his sister something like that, huh? Get out of my face with it.
Yeah?
You two, get out of my face.
Don't touch me, my man.
You better get out of my face.
Well, what about...
Get your camera out of my face. Don't say nothing to me, man.
Well, you say something to me about what
I'll put your mic in your mouth.
Here it is.
Hey, tell him to get it out of my face. Hey. No control. You don't have no control. You don't have
Excuse me, do you want to say anything about what happened to Chris?
You ain't gonna stop me, right? I have no control of you. You ain't gonna stop me, right?
Why?
Free country, buddy. Okay.
You don't have any feeling about the old man?
Get out of my face.
No feeling about the old man at all?
Bad. No.
None.
Not my face, man. Hold up.
I would like to give a message for the guys who are doing the same thing or worse out there, that crime doesn't pay, and it was proven today in court.
When Assistant DA Ferguson left the courtroom, Benny Marzan thanked him for his work on the case. Rachel Franco thanked him with a kiss. The family can never be happy about anything having to do with Dionisio Marzan's murder, but at least now they say they are satisfied that his killer got justice. Bob O'Brien, Channel 5 News.
New Jersey's on its way to getting a death penalty. The Senate voted 31-5 to impose the death penalty in the case of first-degree murder. The Assembly plans to vote on a bill in July. Governor Kane says if he gets that bill...